Hello. So today we will be going over screening and scoring. Um, if you want, you can check out this little help desk area. So for the request for proposal number 33, this would be the main one. It gives a little step-by-step on how the process works. So we first have the initial submission. Then it is screened. So it will say topic chair. You can think of this as just the screener. So the first person who looks at it. The screener will either accept or reject it. If it's rejected, it's just placed away. Nothing else happens with it. If it is accepted, then it goes on to a scorer. So it'll say committee members. They don't necessarily have to be committee members, but they can be. You can structure it like that. But once the screener screens it and says accepted, then they will go down and they will assign it to committee members. If you have all of them the same or you just have one general topic, um, you can go ahead and just have it auto-assigned if you want, but it will give a little drop-down option. And then once it's scored, that person scores it, then it will need to be finalized by an admin. So accepted or rejected based on the scoring of that. So we will go into a request for proposal. So if you're editing a request for proposal, we go back to the proposal menu, and we're working with this one right here. So if I edit request, come all the way down to screening and scoring config. So these are the different fields that the presenter and co-presenters would have in the submission. By default, it will be don't show, but you can show this information to the screening and or scoring people. If you don't want to show that sort of information, again, by default, these won't be shown. Upload a document, access permission. So if the submitter has uploaded any documents, would you want to restrict the files as an admin? You can hide them from scorer or screener or both. Or you can allow for the screener to hide them for the scorer. But by default, they would be able to access the files that were uploaded since they are typically relevant to the submission and the scoring of the submission. You can allow for the chairs to mark or unmark documents reviewed. So again, chairs would just be referring to screeners. If you want to show the topic in the type on the screeners page or the scorer, and then allowing a chair or admin to set a lead scorer. So a lead scorer would be able to see other scores by other scorers. So if you have, let's say, 10 people who are set to score a certain topic, and you want to have a lead scorer who kind of, takes care, looks at everything, you can set them as the lead. So they would just be able to see the scores, comments, and email addresses of the other scorers. The scorers that are underneath them, they wouldn't be able to see each other's, and they wouldn't be able to see the lead scorers' submissions. It would only be that one lead scorer. So if you do have this, it will open up these options for the notification email when a scoring assignment is completed. So if you have multiple scorers and your lead scorer wants to keep track of that, you can go ahead and have a notification sent so they can check on what the other scorers have said or scored. You can allow for the scorers to upload documents to proposals. So let's say that you're having them fill out a paper or a document on different aspects outside of the proposal system about a particular submission. You can allow for them to upload a document to that submission. And you can allow chairs, again, screeners, to download a Word document report. So this would have a little link in the screener's inbox outbox page, and I'll show you that. And it'll allow them to download all of the files associated with the proposals in that committee. You can notify the presenter and co-presenter of screening results. So this would be the first action. So screened. So if you want them to receive a notification email if it's been accepted and moved on to scoring or been rejected and stopped, you can, let's say, have acceptance or rejection or both. So it'll give these little options to enter verbiage that will be sent to the presenter or co-presenter if you're allowing for copies to also go to co-presenter. Otherwise, by default, no notification is sent. These are alternate titles for different screening options. So accept with reservations, and then rejected. You can rename those. And then finalize options. So this would be the admin. So back in here, submission finalized by administrator. You can rename those as well. If you do not want to send any final emails at finalization, so if an admin accepts or rejects it, if you do not want to send any emails, you can check this box. So it would not give the option. By default, once an admin accepts or rejects at finalization, they are given the option to send an email or not to send an email. But if you check this box, then there would be no option. It just wouldn't send anything. All right, and then we can go down to these notifications. So notification to screener chair. You can have it sent to admin and chairs or just the chair, or you do not have to send anything. Either way, it will be in their little inbox outbox, but if you want to send a notification email, you can do that. An audit trail. So if any changes have been made to the request for proposal, if you want to send those changes along to an admin and chair, or do not send. So these are the different emails. So the notification email, so this is upon submission of proposal to their topic. So this would be to the screener when a submission is made. Instructions. So in the little inbox outbox area, there will be a little link that says click here for instructions. So if you want to give them a little bit more information on what is expected of them, you can have that on there. By default, the screener will need to enter in their initials to show that what they've entered is their intentions or is true, but you can disable that. And then notification email by default. So if you want the default setting for the scoring assignments, notification to reviewer to be no email, then you can set that. Notification email to reviewer. So reviewer is the scorer. And this would go out to the assigned scorers when the screener has accepted a proposal. You can send a score review email. So it would send an email to the presenter, so that one, the person making the submission, with a detailed score breakdown. So if you have any that are set to admin only, they will not be included. But if you do want the presenter to receive a notification with reasoning behind the scoring that they received, you can send that. And then you can also include the average score. So scoring, reviewing, so the scores, If you want them to have that little click here for instructions in their inbox, outbox page with what is expected, you just enter in the information here and it'll provide a little link there. Again, by default, scorers are required to put their initials in. So if you want to disable that and not force that requirement, you can check that box. Reminders to reviewers, so scores. You can have this right here. So if they have any incomplete scoring assignments, you can send an email reminding them. Scoring confirmation. So if you want this sent out, confirming that they've made, if they've completed their scoring assignments, you can set that up. And then admin document edit. So if an admin has edited any documents, it will send a notification email to the presenter saying something has been edited on your behalf. And then down here, this is the member area reviewer option. So if you want to allow for members of your association to sign up to be a scorer, it will give that little option, and it'll be on the bottom of the members menu if they want to volunteer to be a scorer. Topic closure option and auto assignment. So this will give the option to automatically assign scores to requests for proposals and close out a topic when a maximum has been reached. I'll go ahead and enable both of these options so we can go through them. This right here is if you are allowing for the member area review option for the volunteer link. You can place a little checkbox for the member to indicate interest in screening. So this would be a screener. And then you can have a message that appears on the sign up page. And then confirmation email that would go out to those who show interest in being a screener scorer. You can have that sent out to them. So types, we went over that. Submission, so this is not relevant to this one. Going to continue, emails, and then along here to the custom scoring fields. So this looks very similar to the submission. You have most of the same options, except by default you need to have one numerical scoring field. This allows for averages. Without a numerical scoring field, we can't have averages because there's no numbers. So by default there will be one, and it'll be a drop-down scoring field. But if you add a type-in scoring field, that will suffice as well. So a drop-down scoring field right here, the name of it, the description. You can set them admin only. Again, these will not be sent out if you are sending information regarding the scoring details to the presenters, co-presenters. Admin only will not be included in that. So these are the steps. If you want to have, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you have your minimum points, and then you have your steps. So that would be just integers. If you want to do, let's say, 0.1, so if you want the maximum to be, let's say, for example, 2.2. So I could give a scoring of a minimum 0 or a maximum of 2.2. I could give 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, and so on. So these are the steps from minimum to maximum. Default is either the minimum, so in this case it would be 0, NA, so they would just have to select whatever they want to, or it would just say must choose. So it depends on what you want displayed by default. You can reorder options by just moving them up and down with these little arrows or deleting it. Number input, so this would just be I type in numerical field for the scores, and again, the steps. Indicator, this is just a checkbox. Comments, this will allow for them to enter in comments regarding the submission. You can have multiple if you'd like to, so if you have, let's say, a drop-down scoring, numerical, and then if you wanted to go ahead and put a comment field right under, asking why did you give this, or what are your thoughts on this area, etc. And then verbiage, this would just be a instructions basically. So if you want to give a little bit more detail, you would just put in those instructions right here. Every time you make a change, make sure to save changes right here. So I will show you what it will look like to a member. So if we go into members view, scroll all the way down. This right here is the little sign up link. This is scoring, so what they would have for scoring. And then any submissions that they've made. So this would be just if I've made a submission, it would be presented right there. So let me go back. I am going to go to this one and go to topics committees. And I will go ahead and do, go back, edit. And I have myself. Let's do admin. So if you want to assign screeners and then scores. So again, screeners are the ones who either accept or reject initially, and then they would assign it to the scores. You can have the same people, it doesn't really matter, but they would just be assigning it to themselves or other people. So I will add this one and submit. And if, let's say, you have the same set of screeners and scores for every topic, you can go ahead and select set all the same as that one. So reviewer sign up options and automatic committee proposal reviewer assignment. If you want to set a limit on how many submissions can be made for this topic, you can enter in a cutoff. So if it's blank, it will never close. It doesn't really matter how many submissions are made. But if you put something in here, once 10 have been submitted and moved on, then it will cut off at that point. Max proposals per reviewer. So if you want to set a maximum on how many scores can have, so if you don't want to overwhelm anyone, you want to say everyone's going to have 10, it'll go ahead and just set a maximum that they can only be assigned 10. Then automatic assign. So once it's been accepted, it'll automatically be assigned to members of that committee. I'll click on submit. All right, so then these right here, we have the submissions. So if I went in here, so now I'll see I don't have any to score with this request for proposal, but for that one we were just editing, I have 2 that are submitted for screening, and then 1 submitted for screening for this topic. So I have 2 for topic 1, and then 1 for topic 2. So if I go along to screen these, click on here, I have my inbox, so what I have not yet done, and then I have my outbox, what is already done. So if I go in here, click on the title, I'll be able to see the information, what I'm allowed to see. So let's say I accept this one. I can set a lead scorer, and then anyone else I would be able to assign. So if I want to go ahead and send out a reference letter, if we're having those, if we have references, then we can go ahead and send those out. Otherwise, we can just do assign above committee members and continue. It'll assign that, it'll send a notification to that person, and I would go back. So now you'll see, now it's in my screener outbox. I already have this done, and then it'll show 0 out of 10 have been completed. So 0 out of 10 individuals have scored that. It'll show my lead score and then show that I've accepted it. So now if I go back to the members view, now I see for that topic, I have 1 to score. So I went ahead and screened it and I assigned it to myself. So I would just click on here and I'll see that same one in my scoring inbox. So I click on this. I'll see what's available to me. And it'll say that I am the lead scorer. So what this means is this one's an admin only, so no one would be able to see this. But if anyone else has made scoring to this, I would be able to click here and I will be able to see what the other scores have said in regards to each one. So with lead scorers, they may want to wait until everyone else has completed their scoring. So then the lead scorer can go through, look through everyone else's comments, and then set their own. So if you see the little steps, the 0.1, so let's say I scored that. Score this one a 5. Check the box. These are comments. And then this right here is just verbiage field. I don't have to do anything with that. And then if I want to upload any other files, and go ahead and upload a file. It'll show my total score right here, what I gave. So 5 plus 3.9 is 8.9. Once I'm done, I can complete scoring, and now it goes to my outbox. But let's say that I made a mistake. I can come back, click on it again, and I can update. So let's say I want to give this a 4 instead. So I changed it 0 for complete, and now it's updated. So that would be those settings. So if I refresh this, it'll show this one that we screened and scored. It's screened, accepted. So it was an alternate title for accepted. I entered that in, and it'll show it's at stage 3 with a score, an average score of 4. So if I was an admin, I would just come here to the submission list, and let's say I want to finalize this one. Click on finalize. I look through everything. I see all the information, what this person scored. If there are more scores, they will come up as well, and then I can see the overall scores. Let's say that I want to accept it. So continue. And since I have not configured an email, I would need to enter in that information. By default, it's going to include that passcode because I checked that box. But you can uncheck it if you do not want to include a passcode and RSVP or edit link. Otherwise, you can enter in a message. If you have one set up, that'll be the default. It won't give that error. The only reason it gave that error is just because I didn't have one set up. But you would enter in the information if you want to include detailed score report and or the average, you can select those. But if you do not want to send anything, you would just click here, do not send, return to list. So it'll just show it's been accepted, but no one has been notified. All right, so that is the submission, the screening, and the scoring.